What's up guys, CSGO tips number 36, and I'm going to be talking about what to do on eco rounds, because a lot of the time people have no idea what they should be doing when they know the round is basically lost because your money is not in a good situation. People just do, oh, let's just rush B, and then you all get stomped by an MP9 and you just fed someone $3,000. So I'm going to give you some tips, some advice on how to basically maximize your efficiency on eco rounds. So the first tip I have for this is learning to use the deagle. Now I could make a whole separate video about making the deagle, but if I were to make one, the long story short is take long range fights, really understand where head level is at different angles and positions and ranges. Be ready to disengage if you miss your shots. So let's say it's in the middle of the half, you can afford a pistol and maybe like 1 or 2 nades, but you don't really want to commit to any sort of buy so that you can buy next round. You could buy a deagle and just hold long range positions where you know where their head is going to be once they peek, so all you have to do is just left click and potentially get a free kill. Getting 1 deags is not easy by any means, and to some extent this is kind of a hope more than it is a good strategy, but if you really understand crosshair placement, where their head is going to be, how to maximize your accuracy, crouch, then buying a deagle on these eco rounds and just aiming for headshots is going to actually be a really good way to open up rounds, or just to maximize damage that you do on these eco rounds. So I'll give you an example here. If someone were to peek car as a CT, where would their head be? Right? You should be able to imagine where their head is going to be if they peek, and then when they do peek, you just have to go for the 1 deag. So you can see the head level is about right there, just under the top of the wood here. And then you have to think about how are they going to peek, how far are they going to swing. Obviously, this spot was just put in a arbitrary position, but maybe he's not going to peek all the way against this wall to my left here. He might peek a little closer like this. Well, you can't even see him, but he might peek like this, in which case you'd have to really understand where this head level is and just get that 1 deag. So an extension of this deagle strategy on eco rounds is to play headshot angles. I'm going to use underpass, let's be PC, as an example. This is a good example of a headshot angle because if you get shot, well, you die. But if you were to get hit by any other gun without armor, even like an SMG or a rifle, the aim punch is going to mess you up to the point where you probably won't hit the shot, and there's a high chance you die anyway, because if they see your full body, it's just like, oh, ba-da-da-da, and you're dead. The second tip I have is to play the round insanely slow and just try to burn as many nades as possible. If you ever watch any of my league matches, you'll probably see this on our eco rounds, on our save rounds. You'll just see us wander around the map making a lot of noise but not committing to anything, hoping that the CTs will just throw a molly, throw a nade, throw something, just so that they have to rebuy it next round. So a great example of this is on Banana, where you'll commonly see at least a molly here, potentially even a second molly around here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, close enough. And then you'll see like smokes, nades, etc., to basically deny you banana control and to gain space as a CT. Right? That's common knowledge. That's pretty standard. Now, if you know this, you can just let them do that and make them use all of their grenades, and you've essentially done damage by doing nothing. If you think about it, a molly and a smoke on CT side costs $900, $600 for the incendiary, $300 for the smoke, and if they burn a nade or a flash, that's an extra $300 or $200. So if they burn all this utility at the beginning of the round, that's already damage you're doing by existing. Consider playing rounds out where you just do nothing and just walk around, make a bunch of noise, but not necessarily committing to anything. Now you can do this in another way as well. Instead of just existing, you can try to throw some fake rush. So if you know this smoke, a 128 tick throw, you just get into this corner, top left corner of the window, to the left, until you're at the edge of the peeled paint. And this is going to be a quick T-spawn to porch smoke. And what you can have your team do is run alt mid to mid, make a bunch of noise. Maybe if a teammate has like 1 flash, they can throw 1 flash over. And this is going to bait out a lot of utility. because the arch player doesn't want to die, so he's probably gonna do something like this, maybe even throw a flash as he falls back. The porch player is kind of isolated, so he might also throw a molly, start spraying through the smoke because he's kind of scared that his teammate might die. And all of a sudden you've burned, again, another $600 to $1,000 just by existing. Final advice I have for eco rounds is to just talk about what you want to do on the next gun round. This applies more so in team environments, but may or may not be possible depending on who you play with, whether it's randoms or with friends. Basically what you could do is just sit in T-spawn, hands off the keyboard on your eco round, and just be like, alright, stretch, stand up a little bit, you know, do a few squats and mentally reset, drink some water, think about what you want to do next round, and, you know, have a game plan for the following rounds, make your adjustments, figure out what they're doing, what their habits are, etc., etc., while you just literally hands off the keyboards, AFK, and T-spawn. Now this is something I saw a pro team do. I don't remember the team at all. I believe it was a French team, but they would literally sit in T-spawn on certain rounds where they are full saving and, you know, are just trying to think about the next gun round, because those are the big rounds. They're not going to try to waste their mental capacity trying to figure out how to get, you know, eco kills. Should I deagle? Should I, you know, pistol? Or, you know, buy smokes, go for a crazy play. It's like, no, we're losing this round. Let's just sit T-spawn, let's just think about it, and then go from there. Again, this is something you would probably run in a team environment, especially if you don't have timeouts. I know you do have tactical timeouts, especially on ESCA. Those are only 30 seconds, and you can only do so much in 30 seconds, so these are the kind of rounds, these eco rounds, where you can really talk it over, just tell your team, hey, let's just sit T-spawn and figure out what we're doing wrong, take a breather, and go from there. So anyway, thanks for watching the video, and like the video if you like the video.